Oh, he can charge the bullets too? Well, taste the Makai, bitch. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are here with another reaction to Devil May Cry. We're on season 2, episode 3, which is called The Panther, the Lion, and the Wolf. Oh my. Maybe the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I guess. A little bit of a spin on that. But yeah, in the last episode, we kind of continue with the storyline. You know, Virgil is now on the human side of everything. He's looking for his brother, but he also wants to expose Ouroboros for what it is. And they decided to thaw out Dante because they feel like he is the best bait for Virgil. And obviously they need the two of them to work together, but they figure if they can't get Virgil, they're on their own. Dante is their next best bet to do so. And so Dante got caught up with everything that's happened since he's been on ice. And right now he's kind of in stunned disbelief that A, Virgil's alive, and B, that he's working for the enemy. So that's kind of how we ended things with Virgil basically putting himself on national television. First of all, exposing the leader of Darkcom as someone who's been basically in cahoots with evil for a while. And also just the fact that he's working for Mundus. So that's how we ended things. Ready to jump in? Let's do that. Just before I do though, a reminder to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you can be in the know when I drop episodes. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Wow. And nobody noticed that these kids were kind of crazy strong? Ooh. Ow. All right, I kind of had the idea that Dante was always more naturally athletic.
I'm the oldest. I say we're going again.
And of course, Virgil was the more serious and the more, like, I feel like Virgil's the brains, Dante's the brawn, and that's okay, right? Obviously, you know, Virgil's not a pushover either, but.
My dashing marksman.
Jealous.
You'll get it with practice.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't want to practice, right? Why does Dante just pick it up without practicing? Really, Dante?
How many times have I said not to ever let anyone see how strong you are? Other kids can't do the same things that you can.
Okay, so Mom was aware.
This is really, really important. Tell me you understand.
Why does she dress like this? I've always wondered. Are they rich? I like this. We're getting some idea of the dynamics between these two. And look what their mom just said, not to show off when the two of them are doing just that. I mean, it's hard to tell a kid not to do what they're naturally able to do. Virgil's a lot more human, I guess, in that way.
Why is everything hard, Mommy? Why can't I just do things like Dante?
You do things differently than Dante, that's all.
I know you think that makes you less special, but can I tell you a secret? It actually makes you more special.
Okay, here we go. Now Dante's gonna feel like he's not as special.
You'll know you really earned it.
It's not exactly fair, Mom. I don't know the right answer either. As a parent, it's hard when you do have two kids that are so different, but they just excel at different things. That's all that means. Like Dante cannot do a plan to save his life. Hello? Is that their dad? And of course, Virgil thinks that his mom chose between the two of them.
I don't need saving.
We appreciate the sentiment, kiddo. He's like, I'm quick. 2 on 1 was already crazy. 3. Madre.
You will suffer for every one of your father's crimes.
For why? What did he
There were
do?
many.
He literally existed. I'm sorry, Virgil. Oh, Dante, you really did have a charmed life, friend. Virgil may hate you. He may hate you. It's not your fault, but this is not going to go away with a hug, unfortunately. And who's coming in with the savior complex now? Is this all Mundus's plan?
Closer, Virgil. You're safe now,
Probably.
and I mean to see that no harm comes to you ever
Yeah,
again.
I don't believe you aren't the one who caused it in the first place.
Your father was my strongest champion,
Mm-hmm.
my most loyal general.
Clearly not.
Argosax the Chaos, a tyrant who made all suffer with his brutality.
Interesting that they're gagged.
It was in his name that they took revenge on Sparta's kin
Okay.
and slaughtering your mother,
Oh, powers activated.
the Yamato. The sword is yours by right.
Okay. He is the oldest.
The chance to use it against those who have caused you such agony.
But have they? I mean, they did torture him, obviously, but on whose orders? Damn, double decap.
Weak, helpless human flesh.
Is that what it is? He always felt weaker too, so playing his insecurities like a violin.
Experts say Makai's newfound diplomacy is a sign our actions in the demon realm are working.
Really? The BBS? I just noticed that.
And his entire cabal of elites are in league with the devil.
He's actually not completely off. For once, a conspiracy theorist that's not completely crazy.
This is exactly what our elite demon hunting skills were meant for. Playing bodyguards to useless war profiteers.
Girl, you're right in bed with them. I don't know why you're being so judgmental.
This isn't about proving a point to the world. This is warfare.
Okay.
There he is. The last piece.
Walking straight into the trap. Both these kids so easily manipulated by their pain, but it's... Aren't we all?
I hoped it would be you, little brother. You know, I always hated when you called me that.
I mean, those 3 seconds or 3 minutes, whatever it was, it means a lot to these twin folk, you know? From what I've seen.
Let Dante have his chance.
Will they listen? He knows you there.
I'm guilty of a lot. But you, how can you be fighting for Mundus?
You don't know the whole story, Dante.
Who did that to Mom? His soldiers. According to whom? A man in a bunny costume.
He was crazy.
Again, you don't question your sources.
But you don't either.
Raised me to take the same position as my birthright.
There's a lot of things going on.
He set me free.
Honestly, he manipulated him. Ooh, not him being a water walker. Okay. Woo. Y'all, do we need to fight right now? I'm surprised they even talked that long, to be honest. I thought they were just going to immediately fight, so.
Still relying on your natural talent.
It's gotten in
Moving
this
purely
part.
by instinct.
Seems to be working. Well, in fairness, I mean, we don't know about Dante's childhood at this point, outside of the fact that he was an orphan, but Virgil's been wanting to do that for about 10 years. But yeah, outside of that,
Come on, Hellblood. I can beat this hedgehog here, motherfucker.
that's his brother? Literally the same DNA, ma'am. Calm down.
We're always more gifted than I was.
That was not his fault.
Efficiencies forced me to train.
Your mom did say you would appreciate it more.
Pizza and chocolate sundaes.
Are you jealous because the food in Mackay sucks? That's what it sounds like.
For a guy who did all that training, you still miss a lot.
This is a national treasure y'all just destroyed with your horsing around. Care to join? He's like, I'm here, bro. I got my form too. Look at us. Look at us. Both of us growing and learning.
Whatever happened between Mundus and Dad, your king is a monster.
Are you sure? Because who you're working for is not exactly a saint.
You think the bombs they drop on our realm hit only the guilty?
Both have valid points, but you're fighting each other, and that's really the dumb part. What's crazy is that the only reason he's beating Dante right now is because Dante does not want to fight him, for real.
I'm here for myself, not some psychotic warlord. You were always sheltered from reality, weren't you?
He was.
Dante, the golden child, the favorite son.
Of who?
Mom always looked after you most. I barely even saw her. She coddled me when she should have let me fall. The same way she hid our heritage. Her sons taken captive while the other hid and watched her die.
Yikes. That was not in Dante's control.
But blame me for that, not Mom.
She did try to protect you.
She tried her best for you. You were the one she saved.
Babe, do you know how hard it is to carry 2 children that are your speed and strength? I don't want Virgil to be paralyzed, but I'm thinking it might have to happen.
Shot at the demon. But I have to go through the other one to get him.
You don't care.
Don't you fucking dare.
Finally, a glimpse of your true potential.
Oh, he can charge the bullets too? Well, taste the Makai, bitch.
Murdered hundreds of Makaians without a second thought. Because somebody paid you to.
It's true. That is actually true. All right, Dante's actually pissed now, so they're gonna fight for real now. Yep, I told you. Unfortunately, bro, he's still a better fighter. He's not scared of death, bro. He's been through all of it. Golly, boys, have we had enough? Have we had enough?
Disappointing. Little brother. Come find me.
Wow,
once
he
again,
healed himself in 2 seconds.
taking care of our mother's true killer.
Oh, that's probably true. But maybe not. We don't even know now.
To this bunker. How does he know our code?
Indeed, how does he? Who told him?
Make sure he doesn't even step off the elevator.
Okay.
I just went through my whole team in
Thank you! He's like, have you been watching the same ish we have?
Surely you won't leave the Arcana we sacrificed so much for without a last line of defense.
How about you? Oh, you know what? Never mind. She's right up that ass, so you might as well stay, girl.
But I'm not
The panic shooting. Oh my God. Calm down, Virgil.
not bending the rules of the system.
Oh my God, you're still monologuing?
A founder who embraces chaos and thrives from it.
Yeah, we get it. You have no soul. You'll do whatever you want. Got it. Oh, that was kind of you. Because he's like, I know y'all don't really want to be here. The way your heartbeats are going, go on and go.
For all your bluster, I'm still a prisoner of order.
Thank you.
That's how I knew you would never actually shoot me.
Exactly.
Mary doesn't need your impiety. She may have misstepped, but she will prove her faith.
In the end, my balls are still firmly in her hands.
My brother's pet sapien. Your reputation in my world precedes you.
Not pet.
I understand you more than I do my own blood. You had to earn your power, and you fight for a cause.
Yeah. Your brother's naturally talented. Boo-hoo.
I wonder how you'd feel then to know that your country's leader gave me your location.
Oh, the president. Yeah, you did piss him off. I forgot about that.
You can work this out between yourselves.
Chaos. You asked for it.
But he's twice the man that you are.
Be sure to tell him that as you're peeling him off the wallpaper.
You say that like he can't heal like you can. Stop it, Virgil.
Arius's head. Hopper seemed more than happy to agree to give that up in the bargain.
I mean, let's not pretend like y'all liked each other.
One arrogant enough to openly brand himself with the symbol of Arius.
Okay, so maybe Mundus told the truth about that.
Nothing to do with your mother's tragic death.
Hmm.
But I had to make you think that I did in order to get you here.
Not you losing your temper. Bro, exactly. What about him looked human to you?
A trap.
I don't know.
That
Okay.
buffoon in the Oval Office.
Yeehawing.
My only ally is my king.
Mundus
All right.
has fooled you, my
Yeah.
dear.
Everyone's fooled everybody at this point. Oh, well, he can absorb that shit. I'd say maybe it's over for you. Maybe you should maybe we leave and regroup. Yeah, I'm with the vice president. This would be the time to exit.
That reminds me, I have one of those too.
Mine's bigger than yours, because I'm compensating. Virgil, you're not ready for this fight, bro. I can tell you that right now. That's it, isn't it? Of course it is. Well, guys, that was episode 3. And yeah, things are starting to get a little bit more real. We finally got a little bit of Virgil's backstory. Like all we knew from last season is that he was in Makai this whole time. He was Mundus's right hand, but we didn't really find out anything else because, it wasn't really part of our plot yet. But since he's here and the boys are together, it all comes out. We got a very quick vignette of what happened after he was taken. Well, first of all, the childhood. I think the main part of this episode is a relationship between Dante and Virgil, because this is very important, right? Because this is really the crux of it all, where if they can figure out their stuff and get on the same page, they're clearly a force that both sides would be very scared of. But at the moment, them being divided emotionally, physically, it's not as, they're weaker. Basically, it's putting them both at a big disadvantage. But yes, we see that as children, as it goes with kids, often there's a child that's really good at something or might have things that happen a little bit more naturally for them. And then maybe the kid that's got to work a little bit harder, right? And in this case, it was around the physical prowess side of things, right? Dante, we've seen it since season 1. The kid's a natural when it comes to physical agility. He picks up on things very easily, like he fights on instinct. And we see that Virgil, he tries to do the same things as his brother. It doesn't work that way. He doesn't think as fast. His reflexes aren't there. And so it's sad, but it doesn't take long before Dante can't even really take fighting with him that seriously, because he's clearly in a completely different league than Virgil. And, because of their background, and again, we find out they didn't learn a lot about it before because their mother kept it from them, but Virgil just wants to kind of stay on par. And that's very real, right? Siblings often want to be on par with each other. And especially in the case of twins, right? I think there's some part of them that think that they should be the same as each other in a lot of things. But when you see that maybe someone who's got the same face as you is doing things in a way that's easier and better than you are, it can definitely create some questions around your abilities. And that's what happened to Virgil. Virgil's like, I don't get it. Like, how come it's so easy for Dante? How come I got to work so hard and I still don't get it? And for him, he's already moved on to the next 10 things, and it's frustrating. And as I said in the episode, I don't know what the right answer is. As mom, as you can see, I think she did the best she could. Like, she tried her best to balance. Like, she doesn't want to put one kid down to lift another one up, but she kind of did in the whole, but you're more special than your brother because you have to earn it. Like, the more special part was not necessary, because now you're putting down Dante for something he's got no more control over, being a naturally gifted, physical, agile person than Virgil has over the fact that he wasn't, right? But I understand she was just trying to soothe Virgil's heart and his ego and his pride so that he wouldn't just give up and get depressed and worse. She didn't want him to resent his brother, which unfortunately ended up happening anyway. But there is something to be said about, for people who have to work harder to get to the places that people get naturally, they tend to appreciate it a lot more. They tend to really have a reverence for all of it, all aspects of what they have to work for. Whereas people who do it naturally, it's not to say they don't respect it, but they tend to take it for granted more easily. And so anyways, I think that's what the mom was trying to explain, but it didn't come out that way. And for young brains, we tend to, when we're young, everything's black and white. It's either yes or no, good or bad. We don't see the nuances till we get a lot older. But anyways, we see that was their relationship from the get-go, right? We have Virgil, who's always feeling like he's got to catch up to Dante and resenting him a little bit for that, but also just kind of coming down on himself for it. And then you got Dante, who doesn't he's just being himself, but he also thinks because Virgil isn't as good at things as he is and not as strong as he is, his mother, of course, coddled him a bit more and was more protective of him to compensate. And of course, Dante read that as, oh, he gets more attention. Mom likes him better. That's mom's favorite. She always leaves me because, I'm not the one who's the weaker one, right? So this is just real stuff that happens in family dynamics all the time. The child that needs more attention because of, whatever reason, that child often feels some type of way about it, but then the kids around them also feel another way about it too because of the time and attention. So it just gets very messy, and that's what happened with these two. So unfortunately, even as children, there was tension. Like, I think there was always love, but you can see that they never really had that good conversation that likely would have happened as they got older about, Dante basically being like, I don't look down on you because you're not the same as me in this regard. And Virgil recognizing that he had different strengths outside of Dante. And I brought that up in the episode about how, Dante, for all of his physical prowess, we've seen that he's not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not dumb, but as I said, when it comes to like a strategic mind and figuring things out, I feel like Virgil is a lot better at that from what we've seen. He's more the thinker of the group, whereas Dante's the doer. And again, if they were working together, that's a beautiful combination. Because it's not that Virgil's without physical skill, it just doesn't come as naturally as it does Dante, and the same way vice versa when it comes to the brain power. So anyway, because they never had that, and then they got separated, and then from Virgil's POV, he sees his mom grabbing Dante. And of course, his mind, because he was a child and so much happened afterwards, it never registered to him that the reason she had Dante is because he got up to get a glass of milk. He wasn't even in their bed or in their room when the attack happened. Dante was still asleep in bed. She ran to the room thinking both her kids were going to be there. Only one was. She grabbed the one she could see. She ran. And if she had seen Virgil, I have no doubt she would have ran and tried to grab him as well. But that's not what happened, right? It just didn't turn out to be that way. So Virgil, all he was able to see was his mom grabbing one child and making a run for it. And in his mind, it was that she was abandoning him. And that just isn't the case, right? So anyway, we see that there was no time for him to process that. By the time he saw his mother again, she was already dead. Dante was nowhere to be found. And he was immediately taken after that. So he didn't get a chance to process any of that. And then by the time he realized he was no longer even on Earth anymore, it was torture. Paying for the sins of his father he'd never seen and didn't even know he was half Macayan at that point. Just getting burnt and killed and going through, well, not killed, but near killed over and over again for a man he's never met, for a crime he had no idea what the crime was, right? So anyway, my theory though, coming back to that, is that I do think that Mundus set that whole thing up so that he could get at least one of, I keep forgetting what their dad's name is, but one of the twins on his side. But anyways, coming back to Virgil's story, just to wrap that up, but that's what happened to Virgil, right? He came out of that whole situation of thinking that his mom had chosen his brother, then died, and his brother had abandoned him and didn't even try to get him, to being tortured, to then having this person come up as a father figure to him out of nowhere and basically empower him and play right into the insecurities that Virgil's always had about his worth, about his abilities, about his strength. And Mundus was like, oh, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you how to be strong. You know, you're never going to be weak again. You're not going to be looked down on by anyone. Like all these things that were inside of Virgil, Mundus spoke to all of those things and was able to play him like a violin after that. I mean, he did train him and teach him a lot of things that were still very useful, but you know, obviously the emotional manipulation was there, and that part is sad. And so now seeing all that, there's a better understanding of where Virgil is coming from, why he has so much anger, why right now he's got this resentment. But I mean, the resentment happened even before the Mackay stuff. But yeah, this resentment that he's got for Dante runs deep, and it was exacerbated by all the drama that happened with this war. And so it's a bit sad. And we see that for Dante, of course, as I said in the episode, he's just so, Dante doesn't run deep when it comes to a lot of things, right? He's not the kind of person who holds grudges, with the exception of what happened with his mom. But yeah, for him, I was like, he's going to be flippant about it if I know Dante very well. And he kind of was. Like, he was like, oh, look at you, you know, I've been out here and you were over there, you know, joining forces with our mother's murderer and our father's whatever. Like, you know, just not even, I think the first thing that should have come out of Dante's mouth was, can we talk? Like, please tell me what happened to you. Please explain how this happened. Let me understand from your perspective how we got here, versus just immediately going into barbs and passive aggressive jokes about the fact that he thinks his brother was a betrayer. And obviously we see that Virgil tried to meet the, you know, that glibness with the same thing, but you know, his is actually coming from a much more visceral place, because he knew his brother was alive the entire time, unlike Dante. So he's had time to kind of build this, shall we say, complicated set of feelings towards Dante. Like, I do think there's still a part of him that missed his brother and very much does want to reach out to him. But the conditioning from Mundus, coupled with that resentment he's held for so long, you know, that kind of keeps him from being able to kind of reach out and actually say what he's feeling. So they're both just coming from very different places. I mean, Dante more so from a place of like, I really just want to connect with you, but I want you to like come to our side and do what I want first without talking about it. And Virgil from more of a, I want you to apologize for being more talented than me and acknowledging that I was always, you know, the victim because of it. Like, Virgil really wants, you know, the acknowledgement more than anything from Dante, which I don't think Dante is going to give him, and he shouldn't. As I said in the episode, no one should have to apologize for being naturally gifted. Dante didn't choose that, it's what happened. However, he could at least acknowledge that life was different and that there was definitely some issues as far as Virgil's esteem and his journey because of that. But that again is not really Dante's fault. But anyway, that's kind of what we have going on with the brothers here. And obviously we had the big clash in the fight, you know, Virgil really dying to show Dante that he is stronger now and that he's better and that he can finally beat him after the fact that he couldn't do it all those years in his youth. And as I said in the episode, he still can't. Respectfully, that was never going to be an area that he's going to be better at Dante in. And that's okay. Just like in real life, if you got a sibling that's really, really good at something and you're not, you can practice all you want. But if that sibling has a natural talent for it, chances are they're going to surpass you again at some point. So yeah, you know, Virgil really thought he was winning that fight. But as I said in the episode, Dante was not taking that fight seriously really until towards the end because he doesn't want to hurt his brother. He never did. Even when they were kids, he always made sure when he won the fight to not hurt Virgil. So yeah, that's just what it is. And it shouldn't be a thing, but that's where they're kind of at. But anyways, we see that in the end, Virgil won the fight, but only because Virgil is willing to hurt him. He doesn't want to kill Dante, clearly, because he could have, but he hurt him enough. And of course, we see that Virgil's learned tricks with his Machian side that Dante still has just barely tapped into since last season. So that's why he knew that stabbing him with that sword and leaving him in the wall, he's like, bro, if you knew your Machian side, you'll heal from that in like 2 minutes and be downstairs. So anyway, we see that fight happened and that he is, of course, trying to go after Ouroboros there. In the meantime, there was a little bit of stuff with the whole Ouroboros people watching the whole fight. I didn't really care as much about it. I don't care as much about that character. I know he's our villain for the record, but it was kind of, to me, I'm more interested in like Lady and like her place in all of it, right? And we see that Lady, you know, she was confronted with her hypocrisy by Ouroboros in this episode, basically him saying to her like, girl, for as much bluster and talk, you know, you don't stand on anything. You're a slave to this order. You're a slave to the rules. That's why even though your gut and your conscience is telling you shouldn't be here right now, you're doing it and you follow that president, that your vice president that you know is shady at AF, but you still follow him because of these rigid rules you've created in your head. And he's like, that's not the way to win at life. And he gave that whole long example of how he had to become chaotic and go off script in order to get where he is now. Obviously for the worst. But he wasn't wrong in telling her that sometimes rules have to be broken, particularly if those rules are not serving the greater good or serving you. And so that's kind of what he ended up telling her. She needed that push. And then when Virgil came down, again, he could have killed Lady, but this shows you that there is still love and some level of connection between him and Dante, because the reason he didn't touch her is because he knew that would be a straw for Dante, right? So him calling her the pet and being like, I don't get it. Like that was all just kind of his like, I kind of half look out for you too because you're my brother's pet. You know what I mean? That was Virgil's kind of very twisted way of being like, I kind of won't touch you because you care about my brother and my brother cares about you, even though I don't understand it. But anyway, we see that after that happens, thankfully that was the push that Lady needed. And she was like, you know what? I could be here trying to protect these losers behind me that don't really care about me, or I could go and protect Dante, who actually has saved my ass more than once and that I know is trying to do something good here. So she did. She made the decision to leave, go try to find Dante, figure that out, leaving Virgil alone with Ouroboros and the vice president. But the vice president very smartly realized he was out of his depth when Ouroboros showed off his power. And as I said multiple episodes now, this man is not human. Clearly, he's not a standard human anymore. Nothing about his look tells me, like, just looking at him, you know something's off. And it looks like all these experiments he's been doing with Mackay and these relics, etc., he's been using them for himself. And we see there that he's got a power that Virgil was definitely not aware of nor prepared for. He tossed Virgil like a rag doll, and he's got his own sword that he's created. And we see that, yeah, him and Virgil decide to get into a little battle there towards the end. But I don't think that Virgil's prepared for that fight, because we see that he's getting a lot of truth thrown at him this episode, mainly that the lies, if it is in fact a lie, which I think it is, that Mundus told him about the death of his mom is in fact that. Right? Because we're hearing now that Ouroboros is like, I didn't send those people. I created that situation because I needed you on this side of the barrier, but I didn't do it. That wasn't me. So again, I feel like Mundus is the liar. I do think Ouroboros is telling the truth. I don't think he had anything to do with it, because I don't think he even recognized or knew that the twins existed, but Mundus had every reason to play the long game of getting his most faithful soldier who defected and screwed him over and ran away, getting his weakness. He wanted both kids, but he was only able to get one. And then, of course, the worst revenge, or best revenge, I should say, in turning his own son against him and making him Mundus's pet. Like that's long game revenge if I ever saw it. So anyway, we see that Virgil's still very much digesting that truth, and we'll have to see what happens in the next episode of whether or not he actually decides to listen and really try to have a real conversation with Dante, or if he's going to try to continue this pursuit of Ouroboros, which is most likely going to end up with him paralyzed, which I'm hoping is not going to happen, but we're going to have to see. But yeah, this episode, even though it was like not as long, I think it was really important that we kind of delve into that relationship between the twins, because it's kind of going to be, I think, a bedrock over the rest of their interactions throughout the rest of the season. So that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. I rambled a bit, but I felt like it was kind of important considering the twins. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me and you stuck through the entire explanation. If you did, thank you so much. Please do show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.